People want me to take a look at this. I took a look at this on my stream before it, which is something I'm trying to do. You know, topics like this that are very serious. I've been trying to like look a bit, either off stream or before I like weigh in on it. So I did that with the Kai Cenat stuff, and we'll do that here. I don't really know if there's too much to say, based on what's going on, but it pertains to Andrew Callaghan has some accusations against him. Let's get it going.
I never in a million years thought that I would be making this video, and I'm shaking because I've tried a couple different times and haven't been able to get my point across, but I don't like seeing abusers get platforms. And my abuser, Andrew Callaghan, also known as All Gas No Breaks, Channel 5, and whatever his new HBO show's called, I forget, has been plastered all over my news feed, and I've tried to come to him person to person and try to get him to take accountability for what he did, but his version of what happened the night that he assaulted me is so skewed.
My first question is like, if she's approached, I wonder if she approached him in a way where like it's a DM and she could show us his response or something. Because again, a lot of this is allegations, and for me, it's very, when it comes to the internet, a lot of times stuff like this could be a massive like wave that it can really break somebody's career that may not deserve it. I don't know what's going on, and I think that for the past few years, people have been really looking at these types of situations as like content. People have been weighing in, they've been adding their moral prescription. The reality is we just don't know what's going on. I've listened to what she said, we'll show it again, but at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like we should kind of get to the spot where it's like there's not much for us to say, because unless there's some tangible evidence, like, the internet judge, jury, and executioner angle is a little crazy to me. So
I will tell you that he did eventually get consent. And that's the main point, is that he eventually got consent because he wore me down. He told me he needed a place to stay for the night. He had some sort of falling out with one of his crew members or whatever, and I was very clear about the fact that we are not hooking up. He gets in my bed and wears me down to the point where I eventually do agree to do things that I wasn't proud of.
Yeah, and listen, like, if this is true, maybe we could have like a teachable moment. I feel like, and this is something that we're having more and more conversations on, this, unfortunately, this dynamic of like, men trying to wear women down so that they'll sleep with them is somewhat normalized in our society, and it kind of needs to change. Well, definitely needs to change. If somebody gives you the no, it's a no. I mean, it's very explicit. So if you're out there and you ask a girl if they want to do something and they say no, like, just take that response. It's really as simple as that. I feel like in society we teach men to be very persistent. I think that like adult content tends to be the way that a lot of people get their teaching material for how to engage in sex. When you're looking at that kind of stuff on the internet, I think it really rots your brain, and it doesn't really give you an accurate portrayal of consent. And I think that part of this is education. I think that sometimes stuff like this can happen where a guy's persistent, and sometimes they can have a mindset where they're trying to like prey on somebody, and I think sometimes it's unfortunately just that they think that that's acceptable. So if that, I don't know if that actually happened, but the hot take, no means no. I know it's very simple and basic, but it's something that people should really be trying to operate with. And express consent's a good idea too. If you ask a girl, like, it's not cringe or beta or gay to ask a girl if they want to kiss before you kiss them. You can do it in a cringe way. Hey, you want to kiss me? Like that. Of course, she's going to respond negatively, but you can kind of like get up to a girl and you can ask if you want to kiss in a way that's a little bit more attractive. Get express consent. Because sometimes you might think that you're feeling the right vibe, but you may not be. It's also not a bad idea to make a girl feel like she can say no to you. It's very simple, basic stuff. But I say girl because usually men are the ones in like the physical power dynamic. Men are usually the ones that want to have sex more than women, or more quickly rather. So make sure that she feels comfortable saying no, and some express consent. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
And I wasn't proud of them and thought it was my fault for so long that I continued to be nice to him after the situation. He wouldn't leave my house the next morning. And then as time went on and I processed things, I thought, you know what? Just because eventually I said, okay, whatever, because I was trying to just get the whole night over with so that it could be morning so that he could leave. it doesn't discount the fact that I told him no. I told him no so many times prior to this. I said, I'm tired. I'm not really feeling it. I came up with any excuse that I possibly could to just get him off of me. And he still found a way to coerce me into things that I didn't want to do. And this is really hard for me to say. I never thought I would come forward, but it's even more hard to have to relive the trauma that I endured every single day by seeing this man as a social justice warrior, as someone who cares about human rights, get a platform. You shouldn't be supporting him. And at the end of the day, like, I've told close friends of mine, I've tried coming out about this before, and he texted me saying that it basically ruined his life.
I wonder what she means by coerce. And the only thing is because I wanted to look it up just to be like accurate. Because coercion is persuade an unwilling person to do something by use of force or threats. And not to downplay her potential experience, but it doesn't sound like she's saying he coerced him. It might be like a misuse because coercion is force, whereas it sounds like he would just keep at. He was like a baby. He was just obsessively or consistently asking. So she's like, all right, fine. I just feel like those are two very different things. They're still bad, both scenarios. Obviously, they'll like threaten somebody with force is different from wearing somebody down, just constantly asking over and over again and being like a sex pest, you know? So I just feel like the language is very important, and she may have just used the word incorrectly. Or maybe she's not telling us fully what had happened, but I don't remember her saying that there is any threat of force. It was more like her allegation was that he was kind of a slimy fuckboy.
And that his life was over now because of things that I said, and other women have come forward to me, but this is my first time publicly talking about it on a platform like TikTok because I hope it gets traction. I hope people listen to me. I hope that if something similar has happened to you, that you know that that's not your fault. It wasn't my fault what happened to me, just because I eventually caved. This is so hard to do, but I eventually, I was really hoping that he would eventually take accountability, but he just texted me this skewed version of what he thought had happened. And
so my question, honestly, and I've watched through some of this, there seems to be new stuff, is she going to show us, could she...
Silento super chatted $4.99. When I hear you talk ab femininity in men, I feel like you think feminine men are less desirable. Do you think feminine men provide as much a masculine M?
Well, feminine men are less desirable to women than masculine men, but there's a certain level of femininity is good in men, and some women like more feminine men. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. But like women don't necessarily desirable a super feminine guy. Anyway, like I was saying, it would be good if she could show us the text messages between him and her, the alleged text messages. I feel like that would be a very important thing. So say, what is his side of the story, and then we can kind of figure out in the middle, because that's usually how it happens. Two people will give us two different events and two sides of the story, and you can kind of flesh out some things based on like what they said, that they might agree on a certain topic, or what's the most commonsensical thing to have happened.
In that moment, it wasn't fight or flight, it was freeze. I froze, and I couldn't control my body anymore. Not to mention
and listen, I don't want to downplay her experience, but I'm confused because it starts with like he wore me down sexually, and now we get to a fight or flight position, and I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like those are a little bit conflicting just with her own story. It doesn't, like, I understand the wearing you down, and that's terrible. That's obviously wrong, and that's a violation of boundaries. I don't know if you would legally define that as sexual assault, since she eventually consented, but I still think it falls in the category of sexual assault, and I think it's incredibly wrong. But now we're on like fight or flight, and I feel like we have a lot of different potential narratives, and it's getting a little bit confusing. And maybe she just is having trouble telling the story because it's a triggering topic for her. I don't really know, but it comes off as a little, it's difficult to follow.
What had happened, and in that moment, it wasn't fight or flight, it was freeze. I froze, and I couldn't control my body anymore. Not to mention, he got me really drunk that night. He was trying to buy me all kinds of the best kinds of tequila at the dive bar we were at.
And I will say, and just to be full, my understanding is Andrew Callaghan gets like, I don't know if he's trying to get her drunk in a predatory way or that they're both getting drunk together. Those two things are a little bit different, obviously. I think it's really weird when a guy or a person who's not drunk at all is trying to feed alcohol to somebody and get them drunk, and then because that'll lower their inhibitions. and like, you know, you obviously are not the same person drunk fully that you are sober. But if they're both drunk, then, you know, it's a little different. It's just something to consider.
And a lot of people don't believe me. I've got receipts, I've got photos of us, I've got text messages, but
like to see
you shouldn't
those.
need that. You should believe me, and you should stop supporting Andrew Callaghan. Take away.
So, like, if this is true, I totally understand her perspective that it's frustrating. I shouldn't need to give evidence. I get what she's saying, because, like, it's frustrating that she has to define the things that have happened to her. But at the same time, you have to understand that we're in like in our, you have to prove it. We have to prove it. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, I did this thing happen. Believe all women or is silly narrative. Listen to all potential victims is the narrative to engage with, and unfortunately you have to prove that it happened, because and she may be telling the truth, but there's people who don't. So
His platform. I just wanted to come on here really quickly and say that
so not to cast doubt on you, but this is what it says. But could you provide the receipts, because I'm getting some mixed signals here. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, and I think that that's reasonable.
Actually working with some people who have come forward in my TikTok comments and in my DMs, people who I've talked to when I first started opening up about this last year.
Okay, so somebody came in here really quick. I'll talk about this like 2 seconds. Kai didn't know his friend's name is actually known in Black communities. Okay, I need you to understand something. You watch my video on it. I'm not gonna go into like off on like a whole thing of the Kai Cenat thing. The issue is that he didn't know his friend's name. The issue is he knew that it was his friend, and he pretended that he didn't know who the person was after she showed him pictures. Like, I didn't get something wrong. You are just not like engaging with the content correctly. But I'm not going to engage with this. Like, we'll watch the video, and if you choose not to, that's your own ignorance, and that's fine. So there you go.
Here, and they're sharing their stories, but I want to make sure that they're comfortable with me sharing their stories before I move forward. As far as what happened with him and I will include, I guess, some more evidence within that. I really just kind of needed to get my word out there. I wasn't expecting to post that video. I've been going through a really hard time with all of this. People in my life know that it's affected my relationships, it's affected my life. It's been incredibly hard, and it took a lot for me to post that video in the first place. So to all of the apologists and people standing up for him in the comments, you know, I really hope that something.
I don't think this person is being an apologist. I think that they're just like, I want more evidence. You know, I'd like to. I don't like want her to believe her. You know, I don't want to believe that somebody like that Andrew Callaghan has done this. You know, but I also don't want to like not believe her, but I want to see what the truth is based on the information that she has. And, you know, you can't say that. Like, you have to give us information.
Something like this never happens to you, and you never have to know what it's like. Okay. I'm not going.
Like I said, brother, you can go watch the video. If you're not going to engage in then like I told you that this isn't the time for this.
To post the receipts because I feel like you deserve them. I don't really care about Andrew at this point. My whole point in calling him out is because I want other women to feel like they have a safe space, they have a person to talk to, because I'm not the only person that this happened to. I will be sharing more information. I will be sharing their stories once I have the permission. I'm really deeply anxious right now. I'm also have other things going on in my life. You know, I'm trying to respond to the comments as much as possible. If you look through the comments, you'll see that I've answered every single one of these questions. And you'll also see that other people said that this happened to them, or they've experienced something similar, or he's made them uncomfortable.
Well, so it doesn't it doesn't really matter even what question you answered, like, because you can't put screenshots. Like, I would like to see what you claim that he may have said when you have like your one-on-one conversation. Like, those things are obviously very important, you know.
So like I said, I'm getting some more information together. I still have people coming forward with stories. Up until literally 2 minutes ago, I just got another DM about someone else experiencing something similar. So I want to take my time with this. I want to be patient about it, and I appreciate the people who've been supportive. It's taking everything in me to not just fully break down, because this isn't easy. And the people who have experienced this, I'm so sorry.
And yeah, if this is real, obviously somebody coming forward with this kind of stuff can be like an additional trigger to what's going on. If this is like an actual, like a valid claim. You know, that's something that's frustrating for people to have to deal with. So, yeah, if you do have a particular traumatic experience, this could potentially just add on to that. So,
sorry you know how hard it is. Yeah, that's all I've got to say for now, but I will be making a follow-up video, and I'll provide a lot more information, not only about my situation, but about the other victims as well. In regards to the whole Andrew Callaghan situation, this is the last time that I'm going to be talking about it. A friend of mine texted and asked if I was okay because she saw my post on Reddit. That wasn't me that posted on Reddit. I'm getting a lot of hate. You guys, like, seem to need receipts. You know, someone speaking up about their story isn't enough, so I'm going to share with you.
Yeah, it isn't. And it's unfortunate, but, like, you have to prove the stuff that you're saying, you know what I mean?
Some, I guess, like, evidence that I was with him that night. I didn't have a camera set up in my bedroom, so I don't know what to tell you. You're just gonna have to take my word for it, and if you don't, that's okay. This is the last time I'm ever gonna talk about this. And I've made my TikTok private, so if anyone wants to share what I'm saying with the people on Reddit, feel free to do that, but I can't mentally handle this anymore. This was Andrew and I agreeing to hang.
All right, so this is Andrew. I remember looking. I've confirmed that that's like actually Andrew Callahan's Instagram, but it's like LMAO America. Can't wait to see what you got. That's what she says to him. Yeah, I'm in St. Pete. Who should I kick it with? And then she says, me. You're home. I'm solo. Just walking around. Yes, I just walked into the door. What part of Pete or St. Pete are you at? And he says up north. Text me and gives the number. So yeah, this is Andrew's actual like account. I just click on the wrong. You know, Andrew.me or whatever. So that seems to be legit. I mean, I suppose it could have been faked, but probably not. But maybe, I don't know. Sure. It shows that there's a mutual interest. That doesn't mean that consent was given just because she may also be interested in him. Could be more to that, but
hang out when he was in St. Pete. This was us the night at the bar.
Right.
We went into
and that part where they're at the bar together, they're both getting drunk together. I don't think that it's fair. I don't know that her perspective, if he's trying to feed me alcohol, I don't think is like a necessarily accurate, just commonsensically. It's possible, but my understanding is Andrew gets drunk pretty consistently. He's pretty open about it. So
into the bathroom to take a photo because this bar, the bathroom has its own Instagram page, and it's just something people do at that bar. Also, like I said many times before, I trusted him, you know, and people are blaming me for trusting him, and I did, you know, and it is what it is. This is a comment from someone who I've been speaking with.
Yeah, and again, like, the comment doesn't really matter. Like, even let's say if this girl's assault is valid, it doesn't mean that every other person that's coming forward is valid as well. You know what I mean? But Andrew sexually assaulted me as well. I had previously been involved with him, but only when I was extremely drunk. I confronted him about it, and he invited me to dinner and apologized, and he assaulted me in the car. I had to physically kick him off. Thank you for sharing. I literally finally came out about this yesterday and on my Insta because I cannot stand this dude popping up on TV as a social justice warrior. I've also heard many stories. So I found her TikTok account of the person that she's talking to here, and I couldn't find her Instagram based off of it because her TikTok is right here. It's Moldy Freckles. She censors it here and here, but not here. If you post it on your Instagram story, I'd like to see that story because you kind of like, you know, again, these are very serious accusations. We can't just operate like, you know, innocent until proven guilty exists for a reason, you know?
About what happened.
Yeah, we watched this already, but I didn't post it because I'm trying to get into the habit of watching something twice when it's a super serious topic like this instead of just like one time. You know?
Her. This
way I have time to process the information and kind of engage further, et cetera, you know?
Message I got,
I don't know who this is, but from the, okay, so yes, of course, I know it sounds cheesy to say, but you're very brave for even reaching out to people because that's really hard to do. I can ask some people if they would be willing to talk to you and give you their Insta. Also, my friends has mutual friends with the camera guy, and I basically heard that he was sleeping with girls who looked very young and live with their parents, so 99% underage while on tour. So this one is like kind of just stupid to me. Yeah, I'm friends with the cameraman, and apparently she heard that he was sleeping with girls that are young, looked young, and they live with their parents. First and foremost, we live in a generation of people who live with their parents till like 30, because the reality is that there's a lot of economic stressors going on that doesn't push people out of the house. I think it's one of the reasons why people are probably not as mature, because they don't get out of that comfort zone for a very long time. As far as looking young, it means nothing to me unless they're under the age of 18. I don't care. What do you want me to tell you? I guess 21, since they're doing alcohol. I don't know, but you can't just say that they looked young. They said that, so 99% underage because they look young and live with their parents. Living with your parents is something people do till like 30 now, so that's not even a factor at all. So there's nothing here. The fact that you said it's disgusting is kind of weird. This isn't an accusation. This is just silly goosery at this point. This one thing, it just doesn't look good for you to support this narrative because it's silly.
About a year ago from someone who said that he has been known to associate with underage girls.
That's not what they're saying there at all. They're saying that they think that the girls look young, so they might be underage. It's nothing. Pretty much all of them have ever had uncomfortable situations with him, been assaulted, or know someone who has. The situation that I was in was at a party probably 3 years ago, and I thought he was cool at first, and then we had a pretty good convo, and then we basically went into his room and kind of isolated from everyone, where he was really pressuring me to go to his house, and I said no multiple times, and he kept pushing and pushing. As you know, he's pretty tall guy, and I'm only 5'4", and I was pretty drunk, obviously party, so they're probably both drunk, and I feel like he was blocking the doorways, so we were in there for a while, and luckily my friend came in to check on me. Okay, maybe.
This is the story from the same person of her experience. You can pause to read any of this stuff. This is...
Of course, also I'm still trying to gather more details, but I was a few years ahead of him at Loyola in New Orleans, and I've heard he got canceled pretty bad because it was kept on the DL. But that's why he replaced his show French Quarter's Confessions, and he doesn't speak much about that in New Orleans anymore. Trying to get more info and to further support. Also, Tim Heidecker viewed my story on your TikTok.
This is about how
reposted, so we know he is aware. I don't know what Tim Heidecker is supposed to do. He is one of my favorites, so I'm hoping he pays attention and takes action. We got you, hearts. I know how hard it is to come forward, especially when you're an abuser, holds a position of power. You're so brave, and you did a big thing. Okay.
He was canceled on his French Quarter Confession show when he went to Loyola because of the same sorts of allegations. You can pause to read that.
You need to show us something. You need to show us something. I don't know what that even really means. French Quarter. It was just like an old show of Andrews. Like I don't really know how to engage with that. I don't even know what to say. It's a lot of information with not a lot of information, you know. So unfortunate stuff. Hey, I wanted to let you know I went to school with Andrew. He pulled the same shit with me and a friend of mine. He frequently Airbnb listed his place and did the I need somewhere to stay tactic, which feels very intentional. He also used to try and tell people he was on male birth control injection. I'm very sorry this happened to you, and I know how gross it feels. My only question here, to watch people praise his politics, my only question here is, my understanding is he's always on the run. Oh, not on the run, excuse me. He's always moving around for his show. He's always moving around for a show. So I feel like I'm sure maybe he does list his place for an Airbnb because maybe he's constantly driving around doing like tours and stuff for his content. So it makes, and I don't know what town they did this. I don't know if they live in the same area or not, but that makes sense to me. Because he has the camper, so they're always on the move, the RV. So it makes sense that he would list his place. Male birth control. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, but I don't know. That's one of the things that I find like interesting, because I would say like he probably is on the move a lot. He probably lists his place as an Airbnb. Maybe he even came back and he was staying in the RV because like somebody was in there for the next few days and he's just trying to make money off it. I don't know.
Just another story.
Someone told me that he told them. Someone told me that he told them he has a list of women that he gets to give him head without reciprocating. Okay, that doesn't matter as long as it's consensual. Like, truly disgusting. Not really. Also, maybe TMI or uncomfortable, but he thinks the clitoris is inside the vagina. Also, who cares? It's actually embarrassing for him that he's this gross. We shouldn't feel bad for him. He sucks. Well, none of this is an accusation of anything. So,
women who he gets to give them head.
Okay, well, if they'll do it, they'll do it.
Another.
I'm sorry you messaged him. I'm so sorry you messaged him and he didn't do anything. That's incredibly disappointing. Well, there's not much you can do. We're listening to you in New Orleans and in Austin. My friend lived with him for a while and apparently sexually assaulted their other roommate who has been terrified to come forward. You're helping a lot of these people share this, and I'm sorry some people are so thick in the head that they don't even have compassion and can't even educate themselves on consent. People really out here pretending to care about women until their favorite public figure violates a woman, then it becomes inconvenient. Well, we just need to see some kind of like evidence.
Another instance.
Are Tim and Eric actually producers on the HBO documentary? Really? I thought like Noah. No, what's the other guy? Guy from Break. What? Jonah Hill, wasn't he part of that too? It's an interesting list here.
Of sexual assault, and I'm keeping these people private, and they've all consented to me sharing their stories, and I'm doing so because.
Yeah, I get people wanting to stay private because it could be like a really intense situation for them. But unfortunately, people like this have to kind of come forward to validate what they're saying.
Because I've already put my face out there. I'm already getting all the hate. It is what it is at this point.
Hi, I just wanted to say in your response to your most recent post, I've heard through the grapevine of Andrew begging girls for sex. I mean, like through the grapevine is nothing. And I have a mutual who went on a date with him. He used the same excuse, fall out with crew and needed a place to stay. She said you have no money to pay for a hotel, and then he got pissed and fuck. Okay.
Another story. More people saying.
Went to a neighboring high school as him, and the same thing was in. Not the first time hearing about something like this. I mean, I don't have any receipts. I mean, somebody asked for receipts, and she says, or they say, I mean, I don't have any. LOL. Never claimed to. I just inclined to believe her because I heard people say some sketchy things about him.
XP Yonk super chatted $4.99.
Hey, thank you so much, brother or sister or sister.
That they've heard about this before.
Andrew Callaghan.
Another story.
And I are the same age, and he went to a high school in Seattle near mine at the same time as me. So I know a lot of the same people as him. He also frequented local kickbacks and spooties, basically parties with junkie juice in the park. Okay, so, jungle juice. Okay, that's pretty crazy. That's like a alcoholic beverage. I know that because I got really drunk on it one time and was throwing up a lot. I think pretty bad. Anyway, and was doing some rap. I don't know if it was doing some rapping stuff back then, so a lot of people knew him. Or sorry, I don't mean to giggle. Or are they saying raping stuff? Was it rapping?
Silento super chatted 99 cents.
Thank you so much, brother. Let me pause these for now. Sorry. It's pretty common knowledge in Seattle social circles like that he's committed sexual assaults. I don't know his victims personally, but have friends who do. To my knowledge, alcohol plus coercion have been a big pattern. He's known typically locally to a lot of people as a predator. Also, you have my consent to share this. I just feel like it's just a lot of faceless people that are saying things. But okay.
My inbox is flooded with people saying that they're proud of me for speaking up because they're too scared to. So I'm sharing their stories for them. This is absolutely taking a huge toll on my mental health. I can see that a lot of you don't want to believe women when they come forward about things. And
no, I want to. I just need enough proof.
I've just got to say that says a lot about your personality and who you are. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, and if you think I'm making it up, that's on you.
Well, listen, at this point, you're kind of like validating everybody that came forward without their receipts either. It's just so much to like, I don't know. Please follow Dana and listen to her story. I'm not. This is, I think, the girl. This looks like the girl. Okay. I'm not the only person that has happened to. This isn't easy for us either. Please be kind to her. She's very brave. Okay, let's see what her story is. Yeah, this is the girl that we're talking about.
So.
Okay, let me see. Is this like the rest of the videos?
So.
Okay, I think that's the rest of that.
Hi, so I just wanted to come on here really quickly and say thank you to all the people who have been.
We can watch this last. Let's see what she has to say here.
So, since I've commented on Caroline's TikTok or Cornbread Casserole's TikTok, I've noticed a lot of people have been viewing my profile, which makes sense because everyone's probably trying to figure out what's going on.
True.
And, you know, it seems like people need more details, which I get. Even though it's really hard, like I'm physically shaking right now.
Could be. I can understand that too. Sure.
I'm going to do it. I'm not going to let Caroline be dragged through the mud alone. I don't give a fuck what y'all have to say to me. Y'all are randoms on the internet. I'm a random on the internet.
Okay.
But just keep in mind, Andrew is also a random on the internet that you probably don't know. So I will be posting my story later once I can fully articulate what I want to say.
Is this actually you, Ryan? Did you change your name now? So you don't, is that you actually, Ryan, in the thing right now? Let's see. Is that actually you, brother? Let's see. Oh wow, it is.
Where he interviewed.
Well, I mean, Ryan, listen, man. The unfortunate reality is we need something to go on, or else it's just accusations. Like, it's an innocent until proven guilty. You know, I would like to believe them, but you know, it's simply put, you kind of need evidence of what's happening, or else we can't just operate as if it definitely happened. Or else, if we set that standard, anybody can move forward and say this thing definitely happened. So
that's that.
Okay,
so as I said in my last TikTok, I'm going to be talking about what happened between me and Andrew Callaghan. But I want to start off by saying that I wouldn't have been able to do this without Caroline posting that TikTok first. Honestly, she gave me the opportunity to feel comfortable enough to actually show my face and talk to a bunch of strangers online about something very personal that's happened to me. I had actually posted about it publicly, about what happened between me and Andrew the day before Caroline posted her TikTok, because I didn't really know where else to talk about it that would reach, more people than just my close friends. I don't have a really big following on any social media. I keep a lot of accounts private because of my professional life. And but I just want to, say thank you to Caroline first off. She was, there was positive, supportive comments on her post, and, then someone took her post and posted on Reddit, and then everyone is having a heyday with it, saying hurtful things and not believing her, which really hurts. And I know that really hurt her. And so,
yeah, I know that she's kind of like not getting to the point, but she's not a content creator. So I don't think that her priority is getting to the point. I think she's just trying to express herself. So I don't think it's something, I don't think it speaks negatively to her. I think that she's just trying to, probably very uncomfortable because she doesn't really make content. And she's just trying to, people talk like this a lot when they get nervous and they don't know what to say. So I wouldn't use this against her. I don't think it's stalling.
Not gonna let.
So you guys have to understand, like, she's not a content creator that knows how to be concise. Like, this is a person that's just probably posting for like really the first time, which seems to be true based on her profile, and she's just struggling to organize her thoughts and express herself.
Someone else go through this alone. Like, if y'all want to shit talk about somebody, you can do it about me. You can say mean shit to me. I really don't care what you have to say, because I'm just saying the truth right now, and I don't care what you believe, but I want other women who he's affected to feel comfortable about talking about it. I'm not saying they have to talk about it, but to realize that, this isn't your fault. This isn't an isolated event. This is a pattern that this guy has, and your feelings are valid, and whatever happened to you is valid. Now, the main thing is that, you know, people are like, where's the evidence? Where's the proof? You know, with sexual assault and things like that, it's kind of hard to provide proof unless, like, you get raped and go to the emergency room and get a rape kit right after.
True. That's true.
I don't know why y'all think that we would have receipts for experiences.
Yeah, and listen, I get it. Say what you need to say, and I understand that. But like people out, and if this is something that you look at and go like, I think he did it, and you don't want to engage with him anymore, I understand. Do your thing. For me, it's something to take into consideration, and it's like a moment. But there's not a whole lot like to really jump into with this for me, at least. I mean, there's no evidence of anything, and I understand it can be difficult to get any level of evidence. But for instance, the last girl who spoke, she said that she confronted the guy through like a text message in some capacity, I believe, and about what happened. And he tells a very different story. And so I want to see that. That would be a good example of something to show us to generate some credibility, that you have like this conversation where you said like, hey, you sexually assaulted me. And he's like, no, I didn't. And this is what actually happened. And the other girl, this girl says this in like her first video, that she has that. I think it was in this video or it's in this one. It's like, maybe you could show that to us, because then it gives you more credibility and we can kind of work from there. But we're kind of just jumping in blind. And I don't think it's a good standard to set, to just instantly believe everybody that comes forward with something, even though like, they seem fairly credible, but what are we supposed to do,
But anyways, here I am backing up my girl Caroline because, it's already a really difficult thing to talk about. And, some people are like, well, why are you just now coming out with this, that he has a HBO Max special? So I will say personally, I ignored him, blocked him from my life, ignored everything that he was doing after what occurred to me. And this was, I'm gonna estimate, about 3 years ago. This was when he was living in New Orleans. Anyways, the thing is, this is not the worst thing that has happened to me. I've experienced worse. Most women experience some type of sexual abuse or assault in their lifetime more than once. So my previous coping mechanism for that was to ignore them, forget about it, never think about it again. It kind of fades away in your memory. I tried to do that with Andrew. I don't even know what Channel 5 is. I knew him first from Quarter Confessions. But yeah, I would see like a snippet of a video of him or something, and I would immediately just like scroll away from it. So I actually had no idea how popular he was becoming. But when I went on my HBO Max to put on fucking the new Sex and the City season, which sucks, by the way. But that's why it's great.
I mean, I said before, I understand the rambling a little bit, but at this point, it's kind of, this is actually 5 videos of like this. And it's, I understand that if this situation happened, you may have some like coping mechanisms. I get that. I just like to get to what your perspective, like what happened in the situation.
No, fucking
you're retelling
this
the
dude's
events.
creepy ass face or animated face is on my TV. Like, this dude has a fucking HBO Max special? Nah. I can no longer ignore it. And I'm not gonna fucking put up with this. Anyways, I have a lot to say, and I have a whole story, but I don't want this to be dragged out for too long because I want people to pay attention to what I'm saying. So,
well, ironic, you just did 6 minutes. A little bit of rambling. Not to be rude, but okay, I guess we're finally getting to her accusation.
I'm just gonna in brief, say that I had hooked up with Andrew previously.
Okay.
He creeped me out, made
And just to be explicitly clear, even if you hook up with somebody, that doesn't mean that you can't be assaulted by them afterwards. You know what I mean?
me feel weird, was mean, demanding. He hit me up again after
So that they had a first consensual interaction. He was a little weird, mean. None of that is predatory or whatever. She, you know, sounds like kind of an asshole. So then he hit her up again.
this time to hang out with me again, and I said, no, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. I don't want to sleep with you ever again.
Okay.
Asked me why. I told him why. He invited me to go out to dinner so he could apologize.
Okay.
So I went to this dinner because honestly, I don't care about an apology because I wouldn't believe it anyways. But I was like, free food, whatever, you know?
Sure. Okay.
Turns out he invites me to a really shitty diner. Like, I've never been to a diner this shitty. This is besides the point, but I'm just saying, like, what the fuck? It's not that hard to fuck up breakfast food. Anyways, so I go to the dinner. He's not really talking to me. And then I'm like, so did you have something you wanted to say? And he's like, oh yeah, do you want to have sex in your car after this? And I was like, no, I don't. Is there anything else you want to say? And he was like, oh, yeah, sorry if I made you feel uncomfortable. Are you joking? You really don't want to have sex?
So the problem I'm having with her perspective so far is that it doesn't go along with what she originally said. I have to find it in one of these videos with this girl because it's like she brings up a comment. I think it's in this one. I'm trying to find. I think this is it. Okay, so she says, Andrew sexually assaulted me as well. I had previously been involved with him, but only when I was extremely drunk. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I confronted him about it, and he invited me to dinner to apologize, and he assaulted me in the car. Okay. So, okay, I guess it does tie up. So first, I thought that she said that he sexually assaulted her twice. Okay. Okay, sorry.
In your car after this? And he asked that, like, probably 5 more times. Like, you're joking, right? Like, you want to have sex in your car after this, right? And I was like, no.
Okay.
So, I told him I would take him home because he lived close by, but that I did not want to have sex in my car at all. I did not want to have sex with him again, ever. And after we got to my car, he started advancing towards me, started touching my inner thigh, and pulled me forward and started kissing my neck. So I really couldn't move out of the position. He was holding me like tightly. And he proceeded to put his hand down my pants. I told him to stop. I told him to get off of me multiple times. He tried to put my hand down his pants, and I was, fighting against him during this, told him to please stop. And he said, you could at least suck my dick. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. Get out of my car. At that point, it was, I'm not taking you home anymore. Get the fuck out of my car. And he just got mad, really. He was mad that I would even say that, but at the same time, he was laughing at me and continued to try to kiss me and was like, "Are you serious? Come on, come on." Yeah, it was not fun. So I told him to get out of my car again. He wouldn't get out. And he said, "You could at least take me home." So I realized at this point I would not be able to physically push him out of my car. So I started driving quickly and erratically down the road. I pulled into a busier street and I stopped abruptly, thinking, like maybe someone will realize something is wrong, or if someone is honking at me, like he'll feel uncomfortable and want to leave the car. But I guess it did make him uncomfortable that I did that, and I told him to get the fuck out of my car. And he was like, "Can I at least get a kiss goodbye?" And I said, "Fuck no, get the fuck out." He left. Never spoke to him or saw him again.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't know what else much to say about that. If that's true, that's obviously really gross. And it wouldn't be her fault. I will say, I would like to see. I mean, like obviously, it'd be good to see his perspective on this. I will say, if you found him to be very uncomfortable and shitty, I wouldn't have gone on a dinner date with him. It doesn't mean that any of this is her fault if she was actually assaulted by him, but I wouldn't have gone on a dinner date with him, especially if you thought he was weird. Big red flag. After the first time you guys hooked up, I certainly wouldn't have. You shouldn't have had him in your car either. That doesn't make it her fault in any capacity. I'm just saying that you should probably listen to your intuition then. Okay, let's see what this
is. Hey everyone. So, yeah, it's been a lot. I know that this shit is on all over Reddit, TikTok, Twitter. News reporters have reached out to me. I haven't responded to them yet, because it's kind of fucking terrifying. But yeah, thank you for everyone for the support. Of course, there's a lot of weird, disgusting comments too, or whatever. Addressing a few things. First of all, the shirt that I was wearing, the Queens of the Stone Age, I didn't even know that was a band. Apparently it's a band where some members have been accused of sexual assault.
Oh, okay. I don't think that necessarily matters, but I guess some people were criticizing her for that. Okay, interesting.
I stole that shirt from somebody, to be honest.
Okay.
And I didn't know it was a band, so my bad. This time, not wearing any words on my shirt. Okay. Secondly, some people are saying that because this came out as soon as his HBO Max special dropped, that we're right-wing conspiracists.
I guess. I don't think that that's true. I mean, it is questionable timing for you to put it out now. But then again, it also would make sense if you feel like he hit like this really big peak of his career and he's on like HBO. It might have been very frustrating and triggering. So I get that.
I'm not a right-winger. That's ridiculous. First of all, just because Andrew is a leftist, I honestly don't know. I didn't know that he talked about political shit. When someone was like, it's crazy how he acts like a social justice warrior, I was like, what? He's doing what? I don't know what Channel 5 is about. I don't know what This Place Rules is about exactly. Haven't watched any trailers. My friend gave me a brief synopsis, and I was like, okay. It's not that hard to believe that people can have the same political views as you and still be a piece of shit. Yeah. It's just, y'all are insane. But I do have messages from when we first started DMing.
That would be good to show. Sure.
We'll post them later once I figure out how to do that. I don't make content. I'm not a TikTok person. People have said it's suspicious that I only have videos about this. I only had like a few other videos before on my TikTok and they were stupid. So I deleted them so that no one would be distracted from the message that I was trying to say. So there you have it.
Okay.
So this is when we
here is
first
the Instagram. This is his Instagram.
started DMing. Yes, I messaged him first.
Okay.
I know y'all are gonna come for me about that.
No, it doesn't matter who messaged whom first. It's irrelevant. All right.
I really don't care. I thought he was cute at the time.
So reply to their stories is 2019. We could sometimes. I think they leave that as like Japanese food or something. Sorry, this was the best way for me to DM slide your DMs. And then he said, sure, you're cute.
He asked where the best pho was in New Orleans. Yeah. Not my finest moment, but I'm being honest. And obviously it's embarrassing, which further goes to show that I have nothing to gain from this.
I requested you as well. I accepted. What's up with you now? He sent a picture. She sent a picture. They liked it. What do you mean it's 1:30 p.m. on a Tuesday? You wild. I'd be like that. I feel like it. 8 a.m. class, though.
We added each other.
And then he said same.
He asked me what I was doing. I said I had class, whatever.
Feels good to live on the edge. Word. What are you drinking? PBR. So he's drinking right now. Be like that.
More bullshit.
Then she called him pleb.
He asked me.
Then she scoffed. He scoffed. What do you drink? Really anything that's drinkable. So when are we chilling? And then she says, when are you free? And then he said, right
chilling.
now.
I said, when are you free?
Right.
He said,
it's pretty big. I mean, at the very least, it's clear that Andrew Callaghan's a fuckboy.
But, right now.
Besides, right now, I'm watching this Ted Bundy thing. It'd be like that. I'm down. I'm not really free.
And often. I mean, I don't know how important this actually is to you people, but here's us.
Okay, so I have to make an appointment. LOL. I guess so. Okay, do you have any time slots tomorrow at 8 to 10, like AM or PM?
Making an appointment, I guess, a date, an appointment just to meet up. And then after this, I was like, can I give
Okay, what's after 10? Do you have a meeting? Guess with the mayor. Never mind.
you my
I don't need to know your business. You do you. I meant to say 8 p.m. Just cleared up some appointments. Okay. Thanks for squeezing me in. Can I give you Can I give you my number? Because I'm feeling sleazy now with the DMs.
My number.
Yeah, sure.
I
What
gave
is it?
him my number. Obviously, I'm not going to show y'all the number. It's an old phone number, so all the text messages between us, I don't have access to anymore. Here's
They do be like that sometimes.
Another time of him saying, what are you doing tonight?
Studying. You trying to study in a way. Sounds like a no. Haha, I'm down. You lying. Damn. Do you study the news? I have other classes, but yes.
I said I'm studying.
So you're going to come to the library? Oh my God, can't we study at your place? There's no comfortable workspace, but you're right. The library blows me. Okay.
And I said, are you going to come to the library? He said, can't we study at your place? You know, it's a common line.
Yeah, it's a fuck one.
He would actually ask to spend the night a lot, as if like he didn't have a place to stay, which was weird.
What do you mean, as if he didn't have a place to stay?
Okay.
Okay.
Can we study at your place? Yeah, whatever. Sure. So anyways, yeah, here's the proof or whatever that I know him in the first place. Some people think that maybe he doesn't know me at all. Well, he could say he doesn't know me if he wants to, but he does. So this is when we first started DMing. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's that. And then we have this video to tie it all off. This was just like a signal boost of the other girl's story. So here we go.
Hi. So I just wanted to come on here really quickly and say thank you to all the people who have been so supportive of not only myself, but of the other people who have come forward. Whatever the opposite of thank you is, that's what I want to say to the people who haven't been. I can't even go on Reddit because the people on there are literally just brutal. And yeah, women shouldn't have to owe you an explanation, but you know, you got one, and yeah, now you know it's not just me. I also just wanted to say that it was never my intention to cancel anybody. It was never my intention to take anybody down. I really just wanted to share my story and give other people the opportunity to come forward and either share their own stories about that person or realize that just because you were coerced doesn't mean that it's your fault, because I blamed myself for a really long time. And the other thing I wanted to say is that To all the people making comments on Reddit about me getting my 15 minutes of fame, I've only got like 600 followers on TikTok. There's no reason why a woman would come forward with something so hard just to get bashed and to get hated.
I mean, listen, man. I listen. You know, I'd like to think that they're telling the truth. Obviously, there's no, like, we don't have enough proof to really engage either way. It's a good thing to listen to what they're saying, but I don't know. You know, I'm not going to move with any of it. But I will say that I've seen a lot of people come forward with situations and to try to deplatform other people that are not particularly valid. You know, shit like this unfortunately happens. I think that the Me Too movement was incredibly positive, but some of the negative aspects of it are people being too affirming to some people who make accusations, even though they may not be true. And so we've kind of corrected a little bit, you know. It's just, it sucks because if he really did do this, you know, he gets away with it basically. And it's unfortunate, but you know, it's possible he did this and he's a scum piece of shit. It's possible that he didn't actually sexually assault them, and that, you know, maybe they could be lying. It's possible that they had an uncomfortable experience and now they're remembering it from 3 years ago and they aren't necessarily recalling it the most accurately. It's possible Andrew's a predator. It's possible that he did, you know, violate their boundaries, but he thought that that was appropriate because we have a bad education system when it comes to consent and sex with men versus women, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many possibilities, man. And it's just, it's unfortunate. I'm genuinely curious about your perspective. What do you think a woman should do if she was essayed and doesn't have proof for it? Should she not post it online or post it without proof? No, she could. No, I mean, they have every right to say what they're saying. I just can't affirm everything and say, like, it must be true just because they're saying it. I'm not saying they should never come forward. At no point in this did I ever say they can't say what they want to say. It's just that, like, me personally, you know, for the way that I operate, it's like I need to see, you know, you're innocent until proven guilty. I need to see, like, a more factual thing, you know. So other people look at this and go like, yeah, you know what, Andrew Callaghan's a big red flag. I believe this. I don't want to interact with him anymore. Okay, like, I understand that your perspective. I wouldn't shame you for that perspective, but for me, I just can't, you know, it needs, for me personally, I've seen people deplatform other people with like false accusations. So, you know, I can't just be like, oh, it must have happened, you know.
If I wanted 15 minutes of fame, this is not the way I would go about it. I literally just wanted people to be cautious. If me sharing my story, if all that did was prevent some women in the future from being cautious around Andrew, because I'm sure he's going to be doing all kinds of like tours and going and, you know, seeing people and promoting his new hard, just to get bashed and to get hated. If I wanted 15 minutes of fame, this is not the way I would go about it. I literally just wanted people to be cautious. If me sharing my story, if all that did was prevent some women in the future.
And I will say one thing, because I see some people in the chat are some people I think are being unreasonable. Like, I see some of you guys that are being a little too hard against her. Like, I think that the best way to engage with this is to just not look for a reason to invalidate her, or overvalidate her or undervalidate her. You shouldn't be looking for either excuse. Like, for the most part, I'm watching this and I mean, honestly, I'm providing very little commentary. I think generally based on what I usually do, mostly just trying to talk about it, like, you know, educational points, talking about better consent, et cetera, et cetera. There's not much to say. I'm not trying to weigh in on this. I happen to like Andrew, but if he did this, then I would not like him anymore. Hot take, right? But there's not enough to know there's not enough to move in either direction. They haven't really had any inconsistencies in what they've been saying. There was a little bit in the beginning from her that came off as a little bizarre. I don't remember the specifics, but if you watch from the beginning, you'll be able to see it. But outside of that, you know, I would keep it. I would just process the information instead of, you know, give your opinion. Just kind of let it sit with you for a little bit.
Future from being cautious around Andrew, because I'm sure he's going to be doing all kinds of like tours and going and, you know, seeing people and promoting his new show. To all the women out there that may come in contact with him, be careful. You know, that's all I've got to say. It's not just me. He's got a history of doing this to many people. The anxiety is finally subsiding and I'm starting to feel like I'm coming out on top of this, which just means that I'm gonna go back to like probably posting normal TikToks of my regular life, and maybe I'll be able to unfilter my comments and, you know, maybe go private, maybe just start enjoying my life again. I just want to ask that you give kindness and you give sympathy to Dana, who has just come forward with her story, or anyone else who may come forward in the future. And I just, again, wanted to say thank you for all of the people in my my DMs, especially the women that have come forward with their own stories. This is the only reason that I've come forward, like, stayed through with this, because there's been times where I just wanted to disappear off the face of the planet, and I realized, you know, I thought like maybe I'm making a huge mistake. But I just feel really grateful to those people, and also to my family and friends who have been supportive. You know, it hasn't been easy, but I feel very, very blessed right now, and I hope this helps somebody in the future. Hi.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's not really much else to say. I hope Ethan covers this. He has a bit of a tendency to cover allegations against people he doesn't like, but not cover allegations against his friends. Yeah, that's true.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.